the fact that you're female,
Hmm.
does are there any special safety measures you take for that reason, and do you think the fact that you're female helps you or hurts you in covering these stories?
I don't think in this kind of story, I think it helped me that I was a young woman, that I could sort of relate to
Mm-hmm.
the lives of these young women. But I wouldn't say that, like, a male reporter in his 30s would, kind of done this story. Maybe he would have had more trouble relating to the subject, or to convince the mother to talk to him. I found that the mother sort of saw me as, she had this sort of motherly, attitude toward me, and I think that helped to get her to
Mm-hmm.
really get into how she felt about being the mother of, Maria Susana, and how she missed her and all this. So that helped. But there's other cases where being a female reporter affect can make you more uncomfortable. But in these kinds of stories, I don't think it really matters. Sometimes editors, and not specifically at the AP, just in general, and actually at my previous newspaper, they thought that I was more in danger for being being vulnerable as a woman traveling on my own to do stories. Like, I did some border stories when I was in El Paso, Texas, and Ciudad Juarez was like a hot spot for drug cartel violence, and they thought that being a woman was like dangerous for me. But it took some convincing to tell them, like, I don't think that they'll target me more for being a woman. Maybe I'll be easier to carjack or something, but I think that if anything, more males have died in this drug war. And if anything, I mean, I don't think it really matters whether you're a woman or a man. I'm not saying that guys will be more targeted now, but I don't think it matters. But in other kinds of stories, it does. Like, if you're going and just reporting on a big group of, just going to talk to a group of men who are drinking, and
Mm-hmm.
after at a stadium, or just, you have to be careful. You have to, because you never know that they'll see you as a reporter and they'll respect you as a reporter, or they will just see you as a woman who wants to know about their lives and maybe have a drink with them. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it again, it depends. In these kinds of stories, I don't think it makes a difference. I think it helped that the mom saw me as a young woman, as her daughter herself, but it really depends.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, that's the last of the questions. Is there anything you would like to add?
I mean, just that. Again, like, there's not a checklist. Like, all these things that I said, maybe some journalists will think that I'm exaggerating, or some journalists would, again, it's up to every reporter. And something that you should always be, and this is for, I guess, editors too, and other reporters, that you should never laugh at someone, or make fun of another reporter for being scared to go and report something. Because sometimes they'll have their reasons, and they'll be like, you know what, like, I can't, I feel like I feel in danger here, and I don't want to go in that tunnel, or I don't want to go in that, I don't want to drive that highway.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't make fun of them for that, and you can't, you have to respect that. I mean, unfortunately, sometimes you can't do the story, or can get to the story because of that, but you have to respect that. And as other reporters too, like, I would never tell another colleague, like, oh, come on, like, you could have done that, or you could have, interviewed that person, why didn't you do it? So it's every reporter's decision to do, and to go and do a certain thing, or go and report on certain topics. If they don't feel comfortable, you have to respect that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the only thing. And if they feel uncomfortable, they should always tell someone too, and they shouldn't feel like pressure to do something, and they shouldn't feel like you know what, if I can't really tell them no because they spent all their money to send me here, and now I have to just do it and go knock on that door and interview that person, and don't, it's your life. And somebody who's been in Mexico for a long time too also told me, this is Dudley Alhouse, formerly from the Houston Chronicle, now with the Wall Street Journal. He's been in Mexico for a long time. He told me once, don't get killed for color. That's another thing. Like, don't, oh, I just want to go and see that plaza and see how it is. It's like, no. They killed, they had a massacre there last night. Maybe you shouldn't go. So don't get killed for color, So
Mm-hmm.
that's something I always remember, that thing he told me, that this was before a mass, refugee situation in a city in northern, in like the border of Texas, and the whole town had fled. Like 300 people were living in a shelter after there was like massive shootouts in their town, and we wanted to go to that town where it had happened, and he was like, wait a little, go to the shelter, talk to the people, wait to go to that town, don't get killed for color again. You can get the stories by talking to the people who are at the shelter instead of going and seeing what it is that it's happening. Who is going to talk to you, the bullet, so so again, that's one of the things that I would tell other reporters who are thinking of reporting in Mexico or Central America.